Even though the name Storage Wars might sound pretty boring for a reality show at first glance, the cast has proven time and again over the years that you really can't judge a program by its title. From searching through forgotten lockers full of hidden gems to placing tense, high-stakes bids, the series has kept hundreds of thousands of viewers completely hooked season after season. Since production went on hiatus, the one question everyone keeps asking is, where are the stars of Storage Wars today? From the private conflicts they faced behind the scenes to what they're up to in their current lives, stick around as we catch up with the Storage Wars cast and trace where their journeys have taken them. Number 10, Barry Weiss. The name Barry Weiss should instantly ring a bell for any longtime fan. Even if you can't name every other cast member, you almost certainly remember him. Barry was one of those personalities viewers immediately connected with from the very start. His popularity grew so strong that after only 4 seasons, he earned his own spin-off series, widely nicknamed The Collector. Barry Weiss stood out for his quirky, unconventional approach to bidding. He was born into a Jewish family in New York City on February 11, 1959, to parents Hy and Rosalind Weiss. His father, Hy, was a music executive who founded Old Town Records in the late 1950s. In 1981, Barry graduated from Cornell University. While still in college, he worked as a radio promoter, running his operation right out of his dorm room. In 1986, he earned his Master of Business Administration from New York University. That strong business background clearly explains his sharp instincts in the high-pressure world of storage auctions. Barry later landed another spin-off called Storage Wars, Barry Strikes Back. He teamed up with Kenny Crossley from the original series, and together they revisited and relived some of their most memorable moments from the main show. On top of that, Barry's rising fame earned him yet another spin-off in 2014 titled Buried Treasure. In 2019, tragedy struck when Barry was seriously injured in a motorcycle accident and hospitalized. According to TMZ that year, Barry and his friend Jamie were riding together through a Los Angeles neighborhood when they collided with the rear of a car that was pulling out of a parking space. While Jamie suffered only minor injuries, Barry's were far more severe, multiple fractures and internal complications. He posted an update on Instagram titled, "Not a good day at the office." He wrote, "A serious crash today while out riding with a friend. I got lucky. Only a broken knee, elbow, and wrist. My friend is much worse and has serious chest and leg trauma. Please send your prayers to Barry." Barry ended up in the ICU and required multiple surgeries on his back and femur. Thankfully, he survived the ordeal. After a long and difficult rehabilitation process, he eventually returned to Storage Wars and resumed his work. Reality television brought him tremendous success, but Barry Weiss eventually chose to step away from the public eye and live a quieter, more private life far removed from treasure hunting and auctions. Most recently, he has worked as a spokesperson for Sherwood Valley Casino and has also done voiceover recordings for several Northern California casinos. Number 9, Daryl Sheets, the Gambler. Another cast member nearly as iconic as Barry Weiss is Daryl Sheets, better known to fans simply as the Gambler. He earned that nickname for his fearless, all-in bidding style and his habit of winning big at auctions. Daryl Sheets is a longtime storage auction veteran based in San Diego. His signature catchphrase, "This is the wow factor," quickly became legendary among viewers. Daryl makes his living by reselling items he wins from lockers, both at his weekly swap meet and through his online store. During the Season 2 special Unlocked, Sell High, Daryl revealed one of the darkest discoveries of his career: a plastic-wrapped human corpse inside a storage unit. Authorities later determined the previous owner had murdered his wife and hidden her body in the locker. In the Season 3 finale, Daryl purchased a locker for $3,600 that turned out to contain numerous original artworks by Frank Gutierrez. The pieces were appraised at approximately $300,000, marking the single largest profit in the entire history of the show. Throughout his time on Storage Wars, Daryl underwent a dramatic physical transformation, losing a significant amount of weight. He credited the change to Nutrisystem. In 2014 he explained, "My joints hurt, my body hurt. I was tired of exercising with no results. Plus, I had to get away from eating cheeseburgers and making bad choices on the set. Nutrisystem was the easy answer." In 2019, Daryl faced serious health concerns. In March of that year he revealed he had been hospitalized after feeling unwell for 3 months, ultimately suffering a mild heart attack. In a now-deleted Instagram post he wrote, "I have congestive heart failure and a severe issue going on with my lungs." After undergoing surgery, Daryl gave an encouraging update 1 month later. Doctors told him his heart function had improved to 40%, allowing him to remove his defibrillator vest. He shared, "However, I'm not out of the woods yet, as my heart is only at 40%, but my spirits never got down and my faith is even stronger." In interviews Daryl has also spoken about some of his most memorable locker finds, including a large comic book collection for original drawings by Pablo Picasso, a letter written by Abraham Lincoln that sold for over $15,000 despite persistent false rumors claiming Daryl Sheets had passed away. His active social media presence clearly proves he is alive and well. As of 2023, Daryl opened a new business in Havasu, Arizona, called Show Me Your Junk. Number 8, Brandy Passanti and Jared Schultz. Next up is another well-known duo, Brandy Passanti and Jared Schultz, a couple famous for their fiery arguments and fearless bidding on the show. Brandy and Jared were part of the main cast from the very first episode and stayed through the initial 12-season run. However, they chose not to return when the series resumed after its 2019 hiatus. Known on the show as the Young Guns, the pair owned and operated the Now and Then thrift store in Orange, California, when the series began. In Season 4 they opened a second location in Long Beach, California, but during the Season 5 premiere, it was revealed that the Long Beach store had not turned a profit since opening day, putting the couple under serious financial strain. The Long Beach location closed permanently, as shown in the opening segment of an episode aired on April 8, 2014. Their original Orange store also shut its doors for good in 2016. On April 24, 2014, A&E aired a special titled Brandy and Jared, Married to the Job. The episode focused on the couple's struggle to balance running their business while raising their 2 children. That special led to a full spin-off series of the same name, which premiered on August 12, 2014. Surprisingly, despite frequently being referred to on-screen as husband and wife, Brandy Passanti and Jared Schultz were never actually married. The couple has 2 children together, Cameron and Peyton. In the Season 13 premiere, fans learned that their favorite power couple had split up. After the breakup, Brandy and Jared continued bidding separately at auctions. TMZ later reported that Jared faced domestic violence charges related to an alleged incident involving his former partner. According to the outlet, Jared got into a verbal argument with Brandy while she was out with friends at a bar in Orange County. When she asked him to leave and he refused, the situation allegedly turned physical. Jared declined to comment publicly on the matter, leaving fans unsure whether the reports were accurate. The only indirect confirmation came from Brandy in a cryptic Instagram post. She shared a photo of a new tattoo that read "Free," along with a lengthy caption tying the ink to her past experiences with domestic abuse. She wrote, "To me, it means that somehow, by the grace of God, I managed to escape a very difficult situation that so many people fall victim to. I will be eternally grateful for the life and freedom without fear that I get to live." Beyond the relationship drama, Brandy also opened up about personal trauma. In 2020 she appeared on Danny Jordan's podcast The Dad Diary and spoke candidly about how difficult it was adjusting to fame. She explained that as people began recognizing her in public, she started receiving frightening letters that made her fear for her safety and her family's well-being. "I got some scary letters in the very beginning," she recalled. "I did have to move at one point to a guard-gated community." The obsessive fan behavior caused Brandy to withdraw from public life for a time. Even though she was part of a successful television show, she admitted she needed therapy to cope with the sudden attention. "It was definitely life-changing," she said. "I did have to have a little bit of therapy about it. I didn't like to leave the house for quite some time, but I'm good now." Brandy Passanti currently remains single and focuses primarily on raising her children. Jared Schultz is now in a relationship with a woman named Rochelle Beckman. Number 7. Brandon Sheets, son of Daryl Sheets, is widely known by his nickname, the Side Bet. In later seasons he began attending auctions independently and even bidding against his own father for the same units. Brandon was ultimately let go from the show in 2017 due to budget cuts. Leaving was especially difficult for him because his father remained on the payroll. The unwanted change forced Brandon to explore new career paths, including real estate and, most notably, working as a driver for UPS. It was during his time with UPS that he was involved in a serious vehicle accident, an incident that later led him to publicly criticize the company for what he described as serious safety failures and poor practices. In a 2024 Instagram post showing the wreckage of the UPS semi-truck, Brandon wrote a detailed caption about the crash. "I was asleep in the berth, also known as the sleeper of our UPS semi," he explained. "Then the co-driver was filling in for my partner who struck another truck going 70 miles per hour. He described waking up to what felt like a bomb going off." Brandon was rushed to a hospital in Texas and later transferred back home to Arizona, where he began a long recovery. Although he escaped with only minor injuries, Brandon pointed out that he received no workers' compensation and no reimbursement for personal belongings damaged in the crash. He also called for better safety protocols for sleeper teams on the road, stating, "We should all work together to spread safety awareness and UPS should have more training available for sleeper teams that are on the road." Number 6. Renee and Casey Nazoda. Renee Nazoda and Casey Nazoda are another well-known husband and wife team on the show, affectionately called the Bargain Hunters by fans. Unlike some of the other couples, Renee and Casey are actually married. They joined during Season 4 and became main buyers starting in Season 5. Renee is originally from Germany. She owned the Bargain Hunters thrift store in Phelan, California, near San Diego, until it closed in 2021. As of Season 11, Casey appeared only as a semi-regular cast member, with Renee often attending auctions alone. The couple has one child together. In March 2023, tragedy struck Renee's family. Renee posted on Instagram that her father had passed away at age 67. In an emotional video addressing his death, Renee shared that her father, Gunter, had been diagnosed with lung cancer 6 months earlier, a result of his lifelong smoking habit. Although the family held on to hope, doctors eventually determined there was nothing more they could do. Renee explained, "He had all kinds of holes in his lungs." Even while grieving, Renee felt it was important to share the news publicly, because her father had been so beloved by the Storage Wars fan community. "My dad was one of the guys on Storage Wars that never really got any hate," she said. "People just loved being around him, including the crew, including everybody. Everybody loved working with my dad." Renee Nazoda and Casey Nazoda also run a YouTube channel that has amassed 191,000 subscribers, with many videos reaching millions of views. Renee and Casey continue to do very well for themselves. Number 5. Dave Hester. Every reality show needs a strong antagonist, and on Storage Wars, that role belonged to Dave Hester, widely known as the show's undisputed villain. Dave became instantly recognizable for his loud, obnoxious use of the catchphrase, "YEP." Shouted repeatedly during auctions, From the moment he joined Storage Wars, Dave developed a reputation as the cast member who clashed with almost everyone, except Brandy Passanti and Laura Dotson. His on-screen behavior often spilled over into real life. He had ongoing conflicts with nearly every co-star. In 2012, A&E fired him before season 4. The stated reason was his alleged attempt to expose the network for staging elements of the show. After his termination, Dave filed a wrongful termination lawsuit against A&E and Original Productions, seeking $750,000 in damages through attorney Julian. In December 2012, he claimed in the suit that producers had staged entire storage units, planting valuable items in lockers after having them appraised weeks in advance, and even funneled cash to weaker teams so they could afford lockers they otherwise couldn't have purchased. The lawsuit alleged that Dave and other cast members had met with network officials to voice concerns that these practices violated federal laws designed to prevent deception of viewers in shows involving skill or competition. The case was initially dismissed, later reinstated, and ultimately settled for an undisclosed amount. Dave Hester returned for season 5 and remained a regular cast member through season 11. When fans thought his courtroom days were over, he became embroiled in another lawsuit in 2020. According to Kecker, Van Nest and Peters, Dave was sued by Public Storage. While continuing his career as a professional buyer, Dave had purchased a storage unit for $12,000. Unfortunately, the unit was wrongfully placed up for auction even though it still legally belonged to the original owner. A California appeals court ultimately ruled against Dave Hester, requiring him to return both the storage unit and all of its contents to Public Storage. Number 4. Ivy Calvin. Ivy Calvin, nicknamed The King, joined the show in season 3, shortly after Dave Hester's departure. By season 5 he had become one of the main buyers. Looking at Ivy's physique, it's no surprise to learn he is a former mixed martial arts fighter and arena football player. Ivy was born in Ridgecrest, California. He began playing American football at age 6. He attended Burroughs High School, where he excelled in both football and wrestling. In 1994 he went undrafted but was signed by the San Jose SaberCats of the Arena Football League. On April 14, 1995, Ivy played in 7 games for the SaberCats, recording 75 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown, along with 33 receiving yards, 0 receiving touchdowns, and 4 tackles. On July 5, 1995, he was released by the SaberCats. Ivy has been married to his wife Wendy since 2014. They have 2 children together, Ivy Calvin Jr., born 1998, Isaiah Calvin, born 2000. Outside of reality television and his sports background, Ivy owns Grandma's Attic thrift store in Palmdale, California. His son Ivy Jr. frequently appears alongside him on the show. Ivy also often teams up with Mary Padian, whom he affectionately calls his BFF. Number 3, Mary Padian. Mary Padian, nicknamed The Junkster, was a former regular on the spin-off series Storage Wars, Texas. She joined the main Storage Wars cast in season 5 and appeared in 3 episodes during a visit to Long Beach in January 2014. By season 6 she had become a main buyer. Mary owns Mary's Finds, a business specializing in antiques and furniture restoration. Several episodes have followed her process of restoring items she purchased from lockers all the way through to selling them to buyers. Mary is close friends with Ivy Calvin, whom she frequently refers to as her BFF. In season 12 she teamed up with Jenny Grumbles, a former Storage Wars, Texas buyer, to purchase a unit. In season 13 Mary appeared as a guest in the premiere episode, Number 2, Dan and Laura Dotson. Dan Dotson and Laura Dotson are another husband and wife auctioneer duo on the show. They run their own business, American Auctioneers, and serve as the primary auctioneers for Storage Wars. Dan has been a professional auctioneer since 1974. He is usually the main auctioneer, though he occasionally hands the reins to Laura. Laura concludes every auction with her signature line, "Don't forget to pay the lady." A substitute auctioneer filled in for the Dotsons on 2 occasions, in the Season 5 episode The Bidman Cometh, 2014, after Dan suffered an aneurysm. In the Season 8 episode Palm Springs Throwdown, 2015. After Dan and Laura got into a physical altercation with regular buyer Dave Hester. In 2014 tragedy struck when CBS reported that Dan had suffered a double brain aneurysm. Laura told the outlet she was with him when it happened. "He began complaining of a severe headache and slurring his speech," she recalled. "He looks at me and his eyes are rolled back in his head and his legs are going out, and the color immediately went from like he was real red and purple to like a bluish green." Fortunately, Dan survived the medical emergency and later returned to his career as an auctioneer. According to neurologist Dr. Mifaki, Dan's survival was partly due to the fact that he did not suffer severe internal bleeding beforehand. His recovery required major lifestyle changes. Laura noted that Dan, a longtime smoker, decided to quit while she was visiting him in the hospital. She remembered, he says, "Guess what? I'm a non-smoker. Thank you, God." Then in 2020, Dan and Laura faced another near tragedy. According to the New York Daily News, their 22-year-old son Garrett Dotson was shot while visiting his brother in Arizona. Laura told the outlet that Garrett's brother called 911 immediately and Garrett was rushed to a local hospital. He was bleeding internally. The bullet ruptured his vena cava. He was filled with blood, she said. "The doctor hopped on the table and used his hands to hold everything together and massage my son's heart. He straddled my son to keep pressure on it all the way to Las Vegas. Thankfully the surgery was successful and Garrett is alive and well today," Laura said. "A lot of people came together to save our son and we're just so happy." Dan added, "This could have been a much different outcome." The shooter, Garrett Wilder, was arrested shortly after the incident and charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault, disorderly conduct with a weapon, and other related offenses. Number 1, Mark Bolello. Last on the list is Mark Bolello, known to fans as Rico Suave. Mark owned a liquidation, wholesale, and distribution company as well as his own auction house. He also previously owned a gaming store called the Game Exchange from 2009 to 2012. Mark was known for bringing large amounts of cash to auctions, sometimes as much as $50,000 at a time. His nickname Rico Suave came from his habit of dressing in flashy, stylish clothing at storage auctions that he appeared 3 times in Season 2, 5 times in Season 3, and 3 times in Season 4, which was filmed shortly before his death. Yes, as shocking as it sounds, Mark Bolello's death was not a rumor. The auction house owner and reality TV personality passed away due to carbon monoxide poisoning in what was ruled an apparent suicide, according to the Ventura County Medical Examiner's Office and a report from Sergeant Craig Dungan of the Simi Valley Police Department. Mark was arrested the previous Saturday for being under the influence of a controlled substance and possession of methamphetamine. When authorities responded to the scene on Monday, Mark was no longer breathing. Dungan stated the official cause of death was asphyxia by inhalation of carbon monoxide and exhaust fumes. The 40-year-old was found unresponsive in his car, parked at his Simi Valley, California auction house. In an interview 2 months earlier with Radar Online, now claimed to be his last, Mark admitted to a 2009 drug conviction but insisted he was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. He explained, "Friends of mine were using a hotel room that was rented in my name. They were partying there. I didn't do anything wrong. I wasn't even there. It's not a big deal." His fiancée, Elizabeth Metris, defended him in the same interview. "I want people to know that Mark has a heart of gold." She added that Mark had been actively involved in fundraising for autism awareness. Although no one knows exactly what led to Mark Bolello's actions, those close to him say he never appeared visibly sad or overwhelmed. Still, both the Storage Wars cast and the show's fan base felt a deep sense of loss at his passing. About Storage Wars. Storage Wars is an American reality television competition series that airs on the A&E network. It premiered on December 1, 2010. A 16th season is scheduled to premiere on June 7, 2025. Tom Beers serves as executive producer and narrator. He opens each episode with a brief explanation of the show's premise and closes with a recap of each buyer's profits or losses. Tom Beers has stated that the series deliberately avoids exploring the behind-the-scenes personal stories of the original locker owners, explaining, "All you see is misery there and I didn't want to trade on that." Under California law, when rent goes unpaid on a storage locker for 3 months, the contents can be sold by an auctioneer as a single lot in a cash-only auction. The show follows professional buyers who visit storage facilities across the state and bid on these lockers. Before each auction, buyers get 5 minutes to inspect the contents from the doorway, but they may not step inside or touch anything. After the auctions conclude, winning bidders sort through their units, estimating resale values and sometimes consulting experts to appraise unusual items. On-screen running totals show each buyer's cost versus estimated value, with a final tally at the end of the episode summarizing net profit or loss. Several spin-off series have also aired, most of them on A&E. Storage Wars, Texas, 2011 to 2014, Storage Wars, New York, 2013, Storage Wars, Canada, originally aired on OLN 2013 to 2015, reruns aired on A&E as Storage Wars, Northern Treasures, Buried Treasure, 2014, Brandy and Jared, Married to the Job, 2014, Storage Wars, Miami, 2015. The fact that Storage Wars has built such a large, loyal fan base doesn't mean it has escaped criticism. Mary McNamara of the Los Angeles Times called it a strangely uplifting show, adding that hope is one of the many things one can apparently find in an abandoned storage unit. Neil Genslinger of the New York Times described the series as an especially entertaining addition to the genre. Brian Lowry of Variety was less impressed, writing that Storage Wars should have been left in storage indefinitely. Troy Patterson of Slate gave a mixed review, calling it trash TV, but also trivial and magnetic. Ellen Gray of the Philadelphia Daily News advised, "If there's an inquisitive bone in your body, you should probably steer clear." Some critics have speculated that producers staged certain units. However, an A&E publicist has stated clearly that there is no staging involved. The items uncovered in the lockers are exactly what appeared on the show. Executive producer Tom Beers has also confirmed that the vast majority of storage lockers investigated during production contain nothing of interest, and therefore never make it into the final episodes. That said, Beers admitted that roughly half of the dialogue is scripted, and that moving items between lockers purchased by the same buyer is also staged. What do you think about the reality TV show Storage Wars? Are you excited for its upcoming 16th season, or do you feel the series has run its course? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more updates on your favorite reality stars.